Good day, everyone. Take two with Jerry and Debbie right now on your radio via EWTN Radio and your local affiliate, and Sirius XM 130 and iHeartRadio and the EWTN app and EWTN.com and YouTube
We're
and
everywhere.
Facebook. Wow. Just like EWTN, it is everywhere. And you know, Debbie, I would give anything to hear from a lot of listeners today.
Are you just, see, I see what you're doing, because that's the title of our show today. I'd give anything to ... That's what we're asking today. Well, we do want a lot of calls today. So here's the number, 1-833-288-EWTN. That's 1-833-288-3986. And like we just said, finish the sentence. I'd give anything to. Now, think about that for a moment. It could be something in your life, something you maybe wanted to accomplish, something you always dreamed about, something in your spiritual life, whatever is on your heart or mind. We want to hear from you, and you'll see how this weaves into your spirituality.
Yeah, again, the number, it's toll-free. Lines do fill up fast, and we get to the end of the show. We always say this, and just have to rattle off a list of names and apologize to those people who don't get on. And we
do a lot of apologies.
We do, and we would love to go on and on and on and get every caller on the show, but we really want to hear from you. 833-288-EWTN. What is it that you would give anything, or at least almost anything, to do, a place to go, maybe a dream vacation? If you're still young and single, you'd give anything to have God bring you that right, perfect mate for your spouse, and then the husband or father, the father or mother of your children. Maybe you're away from a loved one right now, distant and estranged from a child, and you're praying hard and you're trying to keep the line of communication open. And maybe you just, it's on your heart. You would give anything to have that relationship restored. This could be anything that you might have a desire to do or feel, in a sense, a need or an obligation to do.
Ask me. Come on, ask me.
Debbie,
Yes.
What would you give anything to do?
I would give anything to learn how to play the piano, the keyboards, and drums, and be in a band. And I'm serious about this.
Wow.
I've always wanted, Tom Price knows about it because he's a drummer, right? Wasn't he a drummer?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and I talked to him about that. I said, I've always wanted to be in a band. Did you ever want to be in a band?
Well, that's so funny because, growing up, we what we did is we would cut out of wood. We would cut guitars, electric guitars, and set up mock drum sets with like tin cans and things like this. and this was all inspired by the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family and these bands that we would. It was a family, normal family. They go about regular life, but they were also a band kind of on the side. Yeah, so we had that kind of dream. The five of us kids.
Yeah. It just seems so exciting. What about you, Jerry? What would you give anything to do?
Well, I would give anything or almost anything to finish my flying lessons. Yeah. And you know what the thing is? It's just my own lack of free time and I guess maybe laziness and maybe a little bit of fear of going on and completing that. Not a fear of flying, but maybe a fear of failing. I don't know, but I've gotten as far as soloing twice, and it's been about a 15-year process, and I'm about 2/3 of the way. But every time you let a little time go by, you've got to make up, kind of get caught back up again. So that's kind of on my list of things that I would give almost anything to do, and just can't wait to hear from those of you who are listening. What is it in life that you would like to do, a place to go, an accomplishment, an achievement, maybe, again, a relationship restored? 833-288-EWTN.
You do realize that when, we issue challenges to some of the calls that come in, you do realize that when the callers phone in, they're probably going to issue us the challenge of you finishing your flying and getting your license and me joining a band. What is that going to, how's that going to work out? I don't think that's going to be too good.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know how realistic it is for you to join a band, but it's very realistic for me to finish my flying lessons. I just have to get to it.
Get going. Yeah. So what happens when you finish your flying lesson? So you get like a pilot's license, and do you can you fly any plane, or how does that work?
Well, the smaller planes. I've flown
planes.
in Cherokee Pipers and Cessnas and things like that. But
Nice.
I wouldn't probably own a plane, but you just go to the airport and you rent one, and you. There's nothing like it. Like I said, I've soloed twice, and just being the only one on the plane and taking off and getting up there a few thousand feet and just looking out over God's creation is just really awesome. So
very cool, very cool. And then how you could fly over to Arizona? It would be that much quicker than driving, right?
It would. It would be about probably take about half the time. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, well, calls are coming in. Here's the number. And you finish the sentence. I'd give anything to 1-833-288-3986. Keep in mind, Take Two is your show. So call in. You know, if you feel prompted by the Spirit and you want to share something, we'd like to celebrate with you. Maybe we'll challenge each other to finish what we are giving anything to accomplish at 833-288-3986. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we'll be right back.
Listen to EWTN Radio day or night. Audio on demand brings you your favorite EWTN programs, prayers, and devotionals instantly to you for free. Visit EWTNapps.com and get started today.
This is a Lenten Journey with Timothy Cardinal Dolan on EWTN Radio.
There's a very important phrase in the gospel for this Wednesday of the second week of Lent. Jesus says to his apostles, "We are going up to Jerusalem." Whenever we see that phrase in the gospel, "we are going up to Jerusalem," that means Jesus is saying, we're going to Jerusalem, where I am going to suffer, be crucified, and where I'll rise from the dead. Going up to Jerusalem means being immersed into the Paschal mystery, the suffering, death, and resurrection of Jesus. All of us, by the way, are called to go up to Jerusalem. Our life is a journey towards the heavenly Jerusalem, and we can't get to that heavenly Jerusalem unless we go with Jesus to Jerusalem, which means his suffering, death, and resurrection.
A Lenten Journey with Timothy Cardinal Dolan is available on DVD through the EWTN Religious Catalog. This DVD includes all 47 segments for each day of Lent, from Ash Wednesday to Easter Sunday. To get your copy, log on to our website, EWTNReligiousCatalog.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or call 1-800-854-6316.
Al Cresta.
The secular press just doesn't get our story. They don't even understand it. And so it's incumbent upon us to get the story straight and get the story out.
The leading Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Always a blessing. It's an honor for Debbie and me to have you with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And Rich is on the controls today, Jeff on social media, Matt is on the phones. So many other people behind the scenes help to make the program what it is every day, as well as our affiliates. Thanks to all of you and you, our listeners. And today we're putting the question out there, fill in the sentence. I'd give anything to what? It could be something very serious. It could be I'd give anything to have my spouse back, a deceased loved one, or it could be a little more lighthearted, Debbie. But wanting to be in a band, giving anything to be in a band, a little bit lighthearted. I'd love to see that though. Right. Would you be like a headbanger? Would you?
No, it's a Christian band. It would be a Christian band.
They're a Christian headbanging band.
Okay, Matt Maher. Let me just. How about this, Jerry? I just want to play the drums for one of Matt Maher's songs on stage, and I'm done. There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Matt listens all the time, so he probably just heard.
And he's probably never going to answer my phone call ever again.
Right.
And did you share that Michael Birchfield is also screening today with Matt?
I did not. No.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Hi, Michael. Michael's on the phones as well. Real quickly, Jerry, Open Line Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Open Line Wednesday. I want our listeners to make sure they, set some time aside to listen to Open Line Wednesday, because Father Mitch Pacwa is going to be taking calls on church teachings. And I think it's going to be a really, really great show. So I just want our listeners, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, to make sure they listen to Open Line Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, let's go to the calls. What would you give anything? What is it that you'd give anything to do, or almost anything? We're going to hear from Tommy first in Buffalo, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Tommy. You're first on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Welcome.
Oh, hello. First of all, to say I love your show and thank God every day for you guys.
Oh, thanks, Tommy.
I'm on my way to 12:10 Mass and just about to pull in the parking lot, so I don't have to cut you guys short. But when I first heard your question, I laugh because, man, how that answer has changed over the years. But I have to say, if I could give anything, I would want the comfort in knowing that I'm doing the Lord's will.
Beautiful.
Do you lack that, Tommy, or does it kind of come and go for you? Why? I'm curious.
It's not that I lack it. It's just that you try so hard, and life is so complicated, and there are many different facets, that influence, things that are going on, and as hard as you try, and as much as you try to keep the family together with a strong prayer life, and you try to keep a prayer life yourself, and with different family stresses, it's almost difficult to see the positive side of things. Not to say that I'm depressed or anything. It's just, just the comfort in knowing that things are going to be okay. That that we're all working together, with the Lord, and that He's carrying us.
Right. Well, Tommy, you sound like a person that when you finish your mission here on earth, you want to hear the words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant."
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. You have to imagine that is so pleasing to God.
Well, in fact,
awesome.
Tommy, I think we need to remember in the spiritual life, I think St. Augustine said, just our desire to pray is pleasing to God. Our desire to do God's will is pleasing to God. And Tommy, you have that heart, you have that disposition, and my goodness, if everybody in the world, knowing God's perfect will at every stage or moment of our life is not always easy. It takes prayer and discernment and outside objective input and so forth, and then it just takes action. We just have to take that step and trust and believe that the desires, the direction that God has put on our heart is right. And Tommy, it sounds like you're that type of guy, So I know Debbie would join me if you ever have any lack of peace or comfort that you're doing God's will. I think just moving forward and asking Him to guide you, Debbie, wouldn't you say, is just really is the key right there?
Absolutely. And Tommy, you're heading off to Mass. Please remember all of the Take Two family in your prayers at Mass today. If you would do that, we would so appreciate it.
Absolutely, I definitely will. And so I'm going to run in here because Mass started 2 minutes ago, so I'm just going to run in.
Okay. We don't want to make you late. Go
Bless
ahead.
you, Tommy. You have the Take Two with Jerry and Debbie dispensation to be 2 minutes late to Mass today. And God bless, Tommy.
Thank you, Tommy.
Bye-bye.
All right, who's next, Deb?
Next up is Sarah in Toledo, Ohio, listening on Annunciation Radio. Hi, Sarah. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi. I have the, I can't remember what the thing was. I really want to be a behavioral health specialist, but I have young children, and I'm working towards my degree currently, but I get a lot of, people who say I should probably just stay at home with my kids, which really isn't a financial capability for us right now anyways, but I don't know. That's what I really want to do, and I feel very, very pulled towards it. So that's but like your last
Sarah,
caller, it's mostly to do the will of God there.
Right. But Sarah, are there things you can do and still, take care of the family? Are there things you can do to get prepared and going in that direction? Because if that's really on your heart and you feel called to it and you feel like you can really do God's will doing that work, then God will make a way. Because I remember when I wanted to get my graduate degree in theology, it was amazing how all these things just happened to come into my daily life as I was a stay-at-home mom. So I don't know are you kind of seeing some of those things happening for you or lining up that it is in fact God's will for you?
Yeah, because the program I'm in, it takes me away from my family for very, very small periods of time, and I said I would only take steps forward, and that as long as my children were okay, and as long as my husband was good with it, and I just that voice of like, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't, my in-laws, they just tell me that, and I want to, they're wise people, so that's very heavy on me, but a lot of things that just seem to be falling into place though, so I don't know which way to go there.
Well, Sarah, what you just said, I think, is vital to your discernment. You said pieces are falling into place, and that's, I'd say, I wouldn't even say very often. I would say almost always that is an indication that God is leading you. And I'm sure Debbie agrees with this. I appreciate your desire to balance this and your concern for your family. I mean, a lot of people today would really just not have that concern. But I also want to say that there could be a lot of things that you could be pursuing, Sarah, and maybe for, I don't want to say selfish motives, but a behavioral health specialist, the things you'd be doing, helping people in a counseling manner, if I understand it right, or people with mental illness or addictions and so forth. We see and we hear from our listeners, Debbie, don't we? That this is a growing need, and if there's anything God might be calling people, good people like Sarah, to do right now is to be available for those, the burgeoning population of people who need mental health and counseling and addiction help.
Right, I agree. And if God has gifted you in that area, then here's the thing, Sarah. I just wanted to say something. A lot of family members that I respect and love, when I was going for my graduate degree in theology, they actually made fun of it. They told me that I was just crazy. I was never going to get a job doing that. It's not. What are you doing? Why? You've been in the church work, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm sitting here today talking to Sarah from Toledo, Ohio. So obviously it helped. So there you go. I mean, it's just interesting how I think sometimes our family members and friends, they want to be practical. They want to help us, but maybe they're not seeing the full big picture. And if it's been placed on your heart, I think you got to give it a shot. That's what I'm thinking anyway.
Okay. I will proceed with caution.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Way to go, Sarah. Yep, you and your husband will figure that out. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Keep tuned in to Annunciation Radio. Thanks for your listenership. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're asking you to end the sentence or fill in the ... I'd give anything to what? Or I would give almost anything. Is there something in life you've just really longed for or desired? Or, again, we talk about interpersonal relation. Maybe you've been estranged from a friend or a family member. You'd like to see that restored, or just some grand accomplishment that you dream about, and you'd give anything to be able to achieve that in life. 1-833-288-EWTN.
Janet is up next in Atlanta, Georgia on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Janet. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Janet. Janet.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Janet.
Janet, are you in a windstorm? Or are you in the car?
I'm in the car.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. So you're safe. Okay.
Yes. I'm in the car.
Well, you're on.
How would I complete that sentence? Well, some years back, I had breast cancer, and I had surgery, and I never had reconstruction. And it's been really like 15 years ago. I've gotten much older, but it's on my mind to have it done. And I think sometimes, well, it really doesn't matter, but apparently it does matter if it's constantly on my mind that why not go ahead and get it done. But then there's a little fear there, too. I've gotten older and a little fearful, but I don't know. I don't think it hurts my self-esteem, but sometimes I don't know. I just want it to be.
Well,
Janet, feel whole, look whole.
Right. And Janet, you know what? I think that's a really healthy perspective. I mean, you want to have your body restored so you can, feel like Janet prior to having breast cancer. And I totally can relate to that and understand that. What I have, I'm not a counselor and neither is Jerry, but I just wanted to say something that sometimes when we've all gone through this cancer thing, that we've all journeyed through, or you and I have, Janet. Jerry's been spared, thanks be to God. But I'll tell you, it's an interesting journey, and you got to have support with you. You got to have support. Excuse me. And I would talk to some counselors about it because. Let me share something. I had thyroid cancer and I have a scar on my neck. And I will tell you that many people have come up to me and said, since I'm I do public speaking, they said to me that they said, why don't you have some plastic surgery and get it removed? And I struggled with that. And I went to see a counselor and I worked through it. I still have the scar and I'm actually fine with it. But that's just, you know, you need some support. I would talk to other people who have gone through reconstruction, who talk to some support and see what's best for Janet. That's what I would do anyway.
Right. Okay. I like that.
Good.
And Janet, you sound upbeat. I mean, you sound good. We don't know you personally, but I'm assuming that you're doing well. The cancer is a thing of the past, God willing.
Yes.
Oh, praise God.
It's been 15 years.
Praise God. So you're a cancer thriver.
Yes, and I thank God daily. Daily, I do. And sometimes I feel like I shouldn't let it matter because I'm here and I'm able to do everything else as everyone else. But sometimes I just look at myself in my clothes, and sometimes the clothes don't fit as well as they should, even though I wear a prosthesis. It just still, the clothes don't lay right or hang right, and sometimes I'm a little embarrassed about it, and I just I try to rise above it and just not think about it. But here, like I said, lately, it's been on my mind and my heart, and I said maybe I should just revisit and talk to the doctor and just see what it entails and see if I can have it done. So
there you go.
I have the insurance to have it done, but like I say, it's just a little fear of
right.
When I think back of all that I went through, it's like, do you really want to go through that again or just...
Oh, I get it, Janet. I totally get it. It's like, no, I don't want any more cutting on my body from surgery or anything. I get it.
That's an important consideration, too. You know,
yes.
It probably is. I don't know anything about it personally, but I imagine it's not a high risk type of thing. So maybe that little bit of fear is understandable. But Janet, it's something you have to discern and think about, and really be at peace with the decision that you make. But I like what Debbie said. Talk to maybe a counselor, maybe especially other women who have gone through this, and just say, what was the experience like? You know, and you may be surprised. They may say, well, it was very simple and recovery was quick, and they recovered that full self-image that you've been talking about, even though you've got a beautiful self-image no matter whether you do this or not, because you are a beloved daughter of God, Janet. We can hear that.
Yep, you're a strong thriver, Janet. We love that.
Thank you. But I will take your advice. I like that. I will start talking to other women. As they say, I'm older, and it's just I'm in my early 60s. And I guess sometimes I feel like I'm a little old. Why should you?
Janet,
really matter,
Janet,
but,
I was just with a woman yesterday, 93 years old, and she's going strong. So I would just say that's just a number, Janet.
It is. It
right?
really is.
There you go.
Well, I do appreciate this show, and I this is my first time listening to you all, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you. Well, don't let it be your last time. Yeah.
We have thoroughly enjoyed having you with us, Janet. Thank you so much. Be safe driving there in Atlanta, and thanks for listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Deb, we've got we're going to go to Robert next on the phone, but we got that hard break coming up, so we'll read a couple of social media comments. You can if you want, or I've got them pulled up right here.
If you could go first, because the computer just signed me out.
Okay, well,
it said goodbye.
We mentioned at the start of the show, we are streaming video on Facebook, EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook page. Carolyn is watching there. Carolyn said, I'd give anything to visit the little chapel in Irondale, Alabama. And Debbie, we're going to pray that Carolyn gets to do that, because you and I were just there, about 2-3 weeks ago?
2-3 weeks ago, for the Stand Tall retreat. Maybe Carolyn can join us for the next one.
Yeah, we're thinking about maybe having an annual one there in Coleman, Carolyn, which is not too far from Irondale. But it is, Debbie, it's just a beautiful little chapel there where they broadcast televised daily mass, and the priests are just great, and the brothers and the sisters and all. It's just a beautiful, beautiful holy experience to be there.
Yes.
Tony on Facebook, and it must be, I believe it's a female, Toni. Tony says, I would give anything to turn back the hands of time, undo the wrongs I've committed, have a better relationship with my parents, and more support for my siblings. And Debbie, that's probably resonating in a lot of hearts right now.
All I can say is join the club, Tony. We all feel that way. I mean, if we could turn back the hands of time, that's true. So true. Tim said, jumping out of a perfectly good airplane at night. Tim wants to jump out of a perfectly good airplane at night?
Yeah, at night is all in caps, too. So
why at night?
Well, you know what? I've thought about skydiving before, but I don't think I would have the nerve or the guts to jump out of that plane. But, Tim, it sounds like you would. So, brother, more power to you. I hope you get that opportunity. Hey, Debbie, we've got an open phone line here, so we need somebody on that open phone line. We've got Robert and Chris and Sue that we'll get to. 833-288-EWTN. I'd give anything to what?
Third Millennium Media presents Debbie Georgianni.
The world tells us not to be merciful, and we as Catholic Christians are called to take a step back and look at it in a different way. We must practice mercy, especially if we want to receive mercy.
Debbie Georgianni, co-host of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio, wants to visit your parish retreat or conference. Invite Debbie Georgianni today online at thirdmillenniummedia.com.
I know Carmelite nuns who get a call from their Mother Superior every June telling them where they're going to be assigned in the year ahead. And even if they know they're probably not going to be transferred, before that call, they're supposed to pack up all their belongings and wait for the phone to ring. It's an exercise in detachment from the world. We all go through that in our own ways, don't we? Maybe sometimes, something becomes unstable in our current jobs, or a new opportunity opens up. Or we have a financial crash that forces us to rebudget everything. Or we go on a job interview, or maybe get a call from a doctor with some disturbing news. Even if those experiences don't pan out to be anything, and they usually don't overlook their importance. That's God reminding us that, in the end, this world isn't our home. And if you get too attached to the little comforts you surround yourself with, you won't be available to God's grace and His call in your life. Stay open. This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
EWTN, communicating the faith.
You get paid in heaven for the ministry that you do on here. I love your show. My life has completely changed. Through God's power and through His revelation, I've changed my stuff in my life. All my first fruits go to God, and I remain in God. I pray all the time. Your show is in my prayer.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
We're so glad you joined us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're asking you to finish the sentence today. I'd give anything to. And you're doing a great job finishing the sentence. So please call in at 833-288-3986. And as promised, we're going to Robert in New Mexico. Hi, Robert. Welcome to Take Two.
Hello?
Hi, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
How are you? I would really want to have a beautiful choir in our church. I mean, we have a lot of people that sing, but my family's been here in northern New Mexico for over 450 years, and we're Catholic, and we've always contributed. But I just feel like it would be beautiful to be able to praise God with some beautiful music, with a number of voices, because I think a church with a choir is just very powerful.
So, Robert, your church does not have, say, a choir, a group of people now. What do they have, like a cantor who does the psalms and
we have some for the Spanish Mass, but in the English Mass we don't have necessarily a choir. We have one or two people that are involved in that. But my and to have a choir. When I was in California, I actually sang in a choir, and it was very beautiful to be a part of a choir.
Oh, yeah.
But I just we have a priest that is 90, I think 91 or 92, and he was actually the director, but he's no longer in the church. He's had a few issues mentally, but he always wanted that, because he was such he would find the music. He felt that, he says, when you sing, your prayer is twice the prayer. And
right. Well, Robert, can I ask? Yeah, let me ask you a couple quick questions. What part? I love New Mexico, by the way. What part of New Mexico, is it a rural area or is it in one of the bigger cities?
Oh no, it's in a rural area. Our church is like early 1900s.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, Robert. Yeah, Robert, let's take this to prayer. Let's just ask the Take Two family to pray that the right people show up. I would be ready, though, Robert, because, if the good Lord answers it, and the right people start showing up, they're going to be coming to Robert. So you got to know what, how you're going to organize it and what you're going to do, because, what do you think?
I already know how I'd like to organize it. I've already, jotted down on paper and all of that. And I've been praying. I've been praying that the Lord would bless us, and not because I don't enjoy the other choirs and the other masses. I'm very involved in the church. I actually teach confirmation as well, and I'm an acolyte. I serve on the altar. But I don't know. A choir to me is powerful. I would think, and so I've been praying about it.
Have you talked to your pastor about this, Robert? What are his thoughts?
I haven't really directly talked to him. I used to talk to our other priest, and he thought it was great. It's difficult to get people because in order to have a very functional choir, you have to have practices. There has to be discipline. There's a lot
commitment. Yeah.
Yeah, and families here are really busy taking care of their families and the elderly, and so it's kind of difficult. But I think prayer is powerful. And I think prayer will make it happen. And it's just like I always pray for everybody, especially these folks like the lady that was here before me about her scars and those things. I've had cancer in my family as well. And when I think about that, I think about Christ had his scars to us and demonstrate to us how he suffered on the cross for us. And so sometimes we carry some of those things for him so that people will believe how powerful his resurrection was in his death for us. And so, especially now in this season of Lent.
Right. Well, Robert, you got
it's always powerful. But I felt that I did it to just kind of put it out there. You asked, and I thought, well, this has been my lifelong dream. And so I thought I'd just let you know.
That's exactly what we were looking for, Robert. And this is a beautiful, beautiful conclusion to the sentence. I'd give anything to have a beautiful choir in our church. Robert in New Mexico, thanks for your call, brother. And don't be a stranger to listening to the show and to calling in. Please feel free to join us anytime. Thank you so much. And Debbie, you know this principle as well as I do. I mean, the music, the singing, the hymns, just the raising of our voices, especially in the Eucharistic liturgy, is not. It's not just ancillary. Sometimes I know a lot of parishes try really, really hard. At my parish, during this time of the year, at the 4 p.m. Saturday Mass, we have a professional choir. At least it's professionally conducted, and they're all in black pants and white tops, and they stand together and they sit together, and they're just absolutely glorious. And it helps you enter into the liturgy so much more fully, I think. So this is something that we really, as Catholics, I think we may not understand the importance of it as much as we should, but Robert certainly does.
Absolutely. And we believe in the power of prayer. So I think this is just wonderful that this happens today, and it was introduced, and now we can all pray. And hopefully Robert will check back with us and let us know how it's going, because we'd like to have those praise prayers as well. Jerry, I must just let you know that my computer is completely frozen me out. So I'm going to just follow your lead.
All right. Well, we've got Chris in Grand Rapids, Michigan up next. Chris, thank you for calling us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. How would you complete that sentence? I would give anything to what, Chris?
It's such a fascinating topic. When I had a chance to think about it, I would give anything, and I mean anything, to know God. And this is coming from a former pastor in a Protestant church.
Okay.
And I just discovered EWTN maybe about a week or so ago, and I've been religiously listening and learning. And it's almost as if, through listening to EWTN, it's almost as if in a way, bringing me back to faith and belief in God. And it's not that I don't believe in God. Don't misunderstand, but it's more of a wanting more of Him to fill the void, to fill the emptiness, to give a peace of mind, to give contentment. And that's what I would give anything for right now, would be that.
Well, Debbie, I can't think of anything more worthwhile to want to give whatever it took to achieve than to know God more fully and to be truly united with Him.
Right. And here's the thing, Chris, we are made to know, love, and serve God. And you've got this hunger, this thirst, this drive to deeply know God. That's an incredible place you're at right now. And I'm happy you found EWTN, and I hope you continue to fill yourself with the wonderful resources that EWTN can provide. And your journey I believe anyway, is going to be truly nothing short of absolutely incredible, amazing, miraculous. That's what I believe anyway, because when you have that intention, then I believe that God allows everything like EWTN to come into your life and to help you get that. Right. Yeah. Wow. You're in a great place.
Well, I sincerely appreciate that. And it has been a venture I've been on for a long time now. And, I was talking to, if I may just briefly, I was talking to this older lady that I work with. And she said to me, if you're going to go visit a Catholic church again, she said, you're either going to go there for one of two reasons, either nostalgia or you've come home. And I've been given that an awful lot of thought. And, I owe a lot to the Catholic Church, especially recently. And, you're right. I'm hoping that God just does something transformational and miraculous in my life where, I'm 53, where I can serve Him the rest of my life, being able to tell people about Jesus and to tell them about a God who is actually there, not just something that I conjured up or studied in theology school, but there is a real personal God who wants to know you and who wants to shine His light and save you from your sin. And that's what I'm looking for, folks.
Yeah. And Chris, God is going to honor that heart. Debbie and I are both what's called cradle Catholics. You know what that term means, of course. But much of my early life, my teens and early 20s, I didn't have much to do with God. I was not practicing my Catholic faith. So I had what I would term a reversion, not a conversion, but a reversion. And so while I can't fully identify with where you are, which I think is a very exciting place, actually, it might be a little bit unsettling to you at times, but it's also, it sounds like you see the excitement and the potential in where you are. But I can relate to that, in my case, coming back to the faith. It was just like having this whole new world, this banquet table opened up to me. And I just ate, unceasingly of the good riches of God's banquet. And I just encourage you to do that as well. And, I would just say, I remember saying to some colleagues one time, this was at a Catholic apostolate where I was working, Chris and Debbie, and I said to them, I said, my only problem is that I don't love God. And they looked at me in shocked, their jaws hit the floor. What I meant was, I don't love God the way I should or the way I would ultimately want to. And Chris, if I'm not mistaken, that's what I'm hearing you say. You say, you would give anything to know God more. And that indicates that you do know Him. You've tasted and seen that the Lord is good, and you want more of that now. Would that be safe to say, Chris?
Right. I want to be absolutely saturated with it. That's what I want. And again, to have, I'm reading Philippians 4 even as we speak, but to know the peace of God, which I think is such a major part of this, and to know the contentment. There is something that the Catholic faith is doing within me even as we speak. since I've started, rediscovering it about a week or two ago. And it's beautiful is what it is. It's something that is just something that is happening, but I'm waiting for God to just absolutely move. And I just, I pray if there are other people out there listening that are dealing with the same thing,
right.
Press in, don't give up.
Well, and Chris, we the Take Two family, we are prayer. We just love prayer warriors. That's what we are, and we're going to be praying for you, Chris. That you have that that real definite feeling that you want to hear those words, "Welcome home." Chris, just please, if you can do this in your heart, take us on the journey with you. We would love to be able to journey with you, and just celebrate with you where you're at in your spiritual life. And so, if you can remember us, we in your prayers as well, and also just keep us updated. We would really value that. And just know you've got the Take Two family praying for you right now. As you were speaking, Chris, a dear friend of mine texted and said, "Tell him to come home." Okay? That's what she just said to me. So there you go, Chris. You got your families waiting. So just putting it out there. Thank you.
All right. Bless you, Chris. Please do keep in touch with us and know that you are surrounded by prayers. You're a good man. You sound like got a great heart there. So call us again. And by the way, for those who listen to the program, we mentioned all the different ways you can listen. One of the most convenient remains AM or FM radio, because you can pop that on in your car. We know that cars are headed toward being wired for internet and apps and all of that stuff. But still to this day, a lot of people consume EWTN via their AM or FM station. And such stations are not, believe it or not, they are not in every market and listening area in the country. So if you're somewhere where you don't have the benefit and the joy of being able to turn on your radio and listen to EWTN, you could potentially change that. All right, it's not an easy process. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is rather simple in the sense of the steps are all laid out. People have done it, have gone before you, and Jack Williams at EWTN is the guy to talk to. So think about that. Maybe you have a cousin or a family member in some part of the country that doesn't have a Catholic radio station. Just give Jack a call at 205-795-5756, and you can get that number off the EWTN.com website as well.
Beautiful. Chris, if you're still listening, if you would drop us an email at take2 at EWTN.com, take2 at EWTN.com. Just drop us a quick email. We have a resource list that we always recommend. If you're interested in it, we'd love to impart it to you if you want it, because you want that. You want to be saturated, and we can maybe provide some resources for you. So take2 at EWTN.com.
All right, we're going to go right back to your calls. Just a couple quick social media comments. Migdalia emailed us right there at take2 at EWTN.com. She said, "I give anything to see my granddaughter today on her second birthday, but our son has decided to stay away from us." Migdalia, it's heartbreaking to hear, and we are going to pray that relationship is restored and you get to see that beautiful little grandbaby of yours. And Lori via YouTube said, "I'd give anything to visit all the holy sites in Jerusalem and the places where there were apparitions." And Mike on YouTube, "I'd give anything to experience my resurrected body for just 1 hour." Well, Mike,
oh wow,
you're going to probably get to experience that for all eternity. So
all eternity, yes.
that'll outdo an hour, Mike. Yeah. So all right, we got a lot more calls too. So.
We do, and I'm back on the computer. So praise be to God. Okay, Sue is up next in Pennsylvania on JMJ Radio. Hi, Sue. Thanks for waiting. I think you got our virtual patience award, Sue. Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. I pray for them every night, patience.
Oh, good.
Oh,
well,
wow.
you just got awarded for that.
Oh, okay. I would give anything to visit the Holy Land, where Jesus lived and walked, and that's been my lifelong dream. But there are circumstances that prevent me from doing it, and I don't want to get into that right now.
Right.
But maybe if you say a prayer, that maybe someday I'll get there. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Deb.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I've got a quick suggestion, Sue. Steve Ray does a fabulous job on his website of taking you on his pilgrimages using his little phone, and he takes it around. And I've had friends who actually watched some of Steve Ray's videos, and they felt like they were right in Jerusalem and right in Bethlehem. It was really amazing. And I just, forgive me, Jerry, his website, Steve Ray's website?
CatholicConvert.com.
So there you go. So you
Convert.com. Okay.
Yeah, and Debbie's right. Steve leads probably 10 or 12 pilgrimages to the Holy Land every year. And what he does is, like Debbie said, he's always shooting video. This is amazing. Steve's got like an iPhone or something, Sue, and he's shooting video throughout the day on the bus, getting people laughing and singing and talking. And as we're driving kind of toward the end of the day after going to whatever site we went to that day, he'll be up there in the front of the bus just going like a madman on that phone, editing the video, putting music to it. And then every day he uploads probably a 5, 6, 7, 8 minute video, and that's a great way for family members of those who go to stay in touch and see that they're having a great time and they're safe and all of that. So that would be a good way to immerse yourself in that. But still, Sue, Debbie and I believe God is a God of wonders and miracles, and the desire to go there is on your heart. And if God wills it, He has a way to make that happen. And we will pray for His will, but we'll pray that it be that you get to go. Right, Deb?
Yep, we're praying. We're praying. You got to keep us posted.
Sue? Yeah.
What do you think, Sue, about that? If we all pray that you get there.
Well, I'm very grateful that you're going to pray, and I'm going to be positive about it. And maybe someday I'll get there.
Okay. Well, just remember, Sue, we all have the heavenly Jerusalem to look forward to as well, and
yes.
That will be even greater. Although, I've been to the Holy Land a couple times. Debbie's been there. It is a great experience. If you don't make it in this life, you're going to still have that wonderful experience of being not only where Jesus walked on earth, but where He walks in heaven as well. So, bless you, Sue. Thank you for joining us on Take Two. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Sue. Okay, Mary, you have been waiting in Massachusetts, listening on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Mary. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. And I would give anything for my daughter and son-in-law to be able to have a healthy, full-term, normal baby. They've had 2 miscarriages and not been able to conceive since then. They're going through NAPRO technology. My daughter is very, very devout, and thanks be to God, she's not getting discouraged. We listen to Relevant Radio with the Divine Mercy Chaplet. I've called in on that too, and we've prayed novenas. We've had masses said and everything. And I was so grateful, Debbie, when I heard you said that you pray too. You have a prayerful ministry, and maybe if you could remember my daughter and son-in-law in your prayers, I'd give anything for them to be able to have a family.
Absolutely, Mary. You can count on it from the entire Take Two family. You don't have to impart their first names. If you want to, you can. You don't have to, because God knows who your daughter and son-in-law are. But we're happy to pray that. And I just want to suggest, too, that's wonderful that you're praying the novenas and the chaplets. Lady Undoer of Knots. The Lady Undoer of Knots novena, you may have to pray it once, twice, 3 times. Get a group of people to pray it. Have your daughter and son-in-law pray it with you, the family, everybody, and we will be praying it as well.
Okay, that's a good idea. That one I didn't do. I did the 54-day novena to our Blessed Mother of Rosary.
That's awesome.
My mom was living with us, 95 years old at the time, and I thought for sure, the 3 of us praying it, but it's in God's time. And like I said, we've had Mass. I figured the most powerful thing we could do is have a Mass said. I don't think there's anything more powerful prayer on earth than the Mass. So
that's true.
So I told my daughter, I said, every month I'm going to have a Mass said until you become pregnant, and then continue for the 9 months, because even if she gets pregnant, I'm going to be a nervous wreck, worrying if it's going to result in another miscarriage.
Right.
But yes, I'll try
54-day novena, though, is awesome. So that was great that you did that.
I figured that was the best. I mean, that's the top of Our Lady. That we pray. I pray rosaries every day, Divine Mercy chaplets. My husband and I go to Mass and Communion every day, and that's always my special intention. So it's probably God's time, but if we can get a lot of people praying for her, and she really appreciates it. Like I said, my daughter is very, very devout, and I admire her courage and that she doesn't get discouraged, and the Divine Mercy Chapel at the end is, don't let us become despondent or discouraged. But I was so happy to hear from you that, you can ask for prayers for Joanna and Matthew.
Joanna and Matthew. Well, you got it, Mary, and I'll just throw in my suggestion because he's my patron saint, St. Gerard, who is the patron saint of motherhood. Maybe you've already turned to him.
Pray to him. I pray to him every day.
There you go.
Every day. And St. Gianna Molla, we're going to take a trip to the shrine, hopefully, when the weather gets better. So I have a litany of saints that first I pray to our Jesus, our Blessed Mother's beautiful prayer to have a baby online, and then I have sort of like a litany. I wrote down all these saints, St. Joseph, St. Gerard, St. Gianna Molla, all these, saints that I can think of, St. Anthony, St. Jude, St. Rita, St. Joanna, St. Matthew. I've got a whole litany. I told Joanna that I pray that they can intercede, at the end of that prayer that I say. But yes, that's wonderful. So I'm hoping, and just, she's older, so, but, nothing is impossible. We pray to St. Elizabeth and Zachary, and so, and they were older, and our Blessed Mother, St. Anna, and St. Anna and St. Joachim. So I pray to them, too. So I think we're doing good in the prayer part.
You are. I mean, I give you credit. You have enlisted probably 3/4 of the heavenly realm to help you. So that's really good. Maybe God, we just have to be open. We have to be open. And like you said, of God's timing and just we persevere in prayer and we let God do the rest. So Mary, I just got word that the Take Two family is praying right now. So here we go. So keep us posted, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. God bless you. Lots of prayers. In fact, yesterday, Debbie, it's amazing. I just started the Mary Endure of Knots Novena, 9-day novena yesterday. And Mary, I will include you and your intentions, your daughter and son-in-law, I believe it was, in that novena. And she mentioned, too, NAPRO technology. I just want to let anybody out there who's listening know if you're having fertility problems or miscarriages and so forth, Dr. Thomas Hilgers in Omaha has started the Pope Paul VI Institute for the Study of Human Reproduction. And NAPRO, I think, is short for Natural Procreative Technology. And he has helped so many people overcome these problems and these challenges in infertility and childbearing. So please check it out. It's Pope Paul VI for the 6th, PopePaulVI.com. And boy, Debbie, we just we're getting out of time again for the show. This happens every day.
Here we go. Here we go with the apologies. We're sorry to everyone that we left on the line.
But the timing here is amazing. Kayla on Facebook says, I'd give anything to be a mommy. My husband and I have been trying, and my body doesn't seem to want to work. Kayla, you've got our prayers. Believe me. And there are so many others of you who have commented on social media. Wow, what a show. Debbie, speaking of prayer,
tomorrow is the first of the month, and we've dedicated it to prayer. Who are you praying for? That's what we want to know tomorrow on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we're going to get the whole Take Two family praying. We started off at the first of the month. We decided to do this for all of 2018. So please join us tomorrow and share your prayer intentions. Jerry?
Yeah, well, I'll be back on Catholic Answers Live, filling in for Cy Kellett for the 3rd day in a row, and the final day, for now anyway, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us for that. Debbie, we always want to wish our listeners
a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.